Fiscal policy options. Unplug. Put your phones upside down. Put your pencils down. Taylor. So classical economics. Classical is a school of thought stating that markets should regulate themselves, that the free market will take care of in everything. They will recover from ups and downs on their own. Milton Friedman was one of the biggest classical economists. He said, let free enterprise solve economic problems, not the government. The Great Depression changed or challenged this idea. During the Depression, the economy did not recover quickly. Prices fell, but demand did not increase. Remember, as prices fall, demand's supposed to increase, supply and demand, right? But so many people lacked jobs and money, and they were worried about what little they had left. They weren't spending it on anything. Prices continued to drop. More people lost jobs. John Maynard Keynes introduced a theory about the economy now called Keynesian economics. It encouraged a greater role for the government in the economy. He said the Depression lasted because neither the consumers nor the businesses had an incentive to increase spending. The consumers had no incentive to buy. Businesses had no incentive to make more because people weren't buying. So he thought if companies would not increase production, if consumers had no jobs and no money to buy their products, he argued that the government could buy more goods and services, encouraging production, which in turn would put more people back to work. The government could pay for some new roads, some new bridges, some new dams, some new schools, some new hospitals. All of that stuff would get people working again. Fiscal policy is powerful because of the multiplier effect. The idea that a dollar change in fiscal policy can have several times that impact on the economy. Let's say the government's going to build a new bridge over 71 at the Pedernales River. Okay? Well, the first thing they're going to do is hire somebody, a company, to build that bridge, right? So they hire a company. The government gives that money to the company. Well, that company now has to buy the architects, right, to design the bridge. They have to pay for all the workers to build the bridge. They have to buy all the supplies. Okay? So all the money most of the money that company got for building the bridge is going to someone else. And then they're going to spend it again. And then the next people are going to spend it again. So if you put it $1 into the economy, the effect on the GDP, all goods and services bought and sold in the year, may increase by like $6 or $7. Okay? So if you put $1 billion into the economy, that could improve the GDP by $4, $5, $6, $10 billion. That's what they talk about. That's what they mean by the multiplier effect. If the government buys 10 billion in goods and services, the GDP will increase much more than 10 billion. This effect occurs because firms spend 10 billion on wages, raw material, and investment. The people who receive this money also spend it creating more economic activity. So supply side economics is different. Supply side says the better way to encourage economic activity is to lower taxes, spend less as a government, put more money into people's pockets. People will then use that money to buy things or invest, and that will create more jobs. So Trump's tax cut that just passed this year, the big part of it was the business tax cut. And the idea is that now the businesses don't have to pay as much taxes. They're going to take that money and expand their business, create new jobs, right? Remember that business tax is only about 11% of the federal government, while our income tax, which is due tomorrow, it makes up about 50% of the government's income. So the idea is that now businesses have more money and they'll use it in higher wages, right? Which will give people more money to spend. So hopefully that happens. A lot of companies are buying back their own stock, using all that money to buy back stock. So that doesn't help anyone but the owners of the company. All right, in recent times, both Keynesian and supply side economics have won favor. It's gone back and forth, right, Alan? Keynesian economics dominated the decades following World War II. That's with the government buying more, spending more on goods and services. Then under President Reagan in the 80s, the government implemented a supply side policy with a huge tax cut. And that boosted the economy. Then we hit a recession in 2007, and Obama kind of returned to the Keynesian principles, got us out of the recession. Some say it took longer than it should have, whatever. And now, in 2017, with this last tax cut, we're returning back to supply side economics. So it kind of goes back and forth on what's in favor at the time. And then the rest of this is just the questions. All right. And there you have it.